What's going on, everyone, everywhere? Welcome back to another video, man. Look, before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Whatever all the other YouTubers say, go ahead and do that for me as well. Okay, share the video out. Your grandma, your auntie, your uncle, your third removed cousin. It really don't matter. Share it to everyone on your contact list, man, and tell them to subscribe. All right, we're on the road to 1,000 subs. At 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway for 10 DCUO memberships, okay? It is not platform nor server specific. That means no matter if you're in the US or the EU, the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PC, the Nintendo Switch, it does not matter what you own, what you play on. I'm gonna get you that membership one way or the other, you feel me? But look, once we get to 1,000 subs, of course. But look, without further ado, man, let's go hop into this video. By the title of the video, you see that we talking about this precision loadouts for electricity. All right. So in this video, we can go over the single target. As you see, what I got my loaded down below. I'm gonna do a super speed version. Okay. If you have the super speed movement, I'm gonna do a non-super speed version. If you don't have that, okay. Maybe you fly acrobatics, whatever the case may be. It's all good. I'm gonna take care of you in this video. All right. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Now, the mods are not really going to change whatsoever at all. You already know blast adapter for our dual wield for single target. We're going to have brawling for the AoE, of course. Head socket, we're going to have critical wire. Now, I like to use critical wire, especially when doing the sparring targets, because a lot of times you're very crit dependent. Definitely, and I will recommend also circuit breaker, you know, the 5% back for circuit breaker. Either one. I would more recommend circuit breaker if you know that you're in an EOG group, so you at least have one, you know, preferably two EOG spam healers. EOG means Eye Gemini, for those who don't know, and Eye Gemini is this right here. Okay, you basically get your supercharged back. All right, a lot of healers will rock it. So if you're gonna run with the EOG people, get the head socket for that, the circuit breaker. If you're not, or maybe you just occasionally see one of them green fields, because some people do hybrid builds like I do occasionally, just rock the critical wired. It will help you in the long run to make sure you crit just a little bit more often, okay? Now on our net socket core, since we're precision, we're gonna go with the relentless precision. All right, get the precision increased. Back socket is completely and utterly on you. I accelerate test ball at the moment because I was testing some stuff out, but you can have accelerated Tesla ball, accelerating arc lightning, or even berserker. I recommend, as a general all-around basis, go ahead and put berserker in. All right, let me show you with that in there. Okay, just go ahead and have this in. You actually get below 35% health quite often. It's nice to have that 10% damage increase when you do. All right, especially if you're doing the damage chasing, going on leaderboards and all that. Now, on our chest socket, penetrating strikes is the way to go. Do not use core strength. Penetrating strikes definitely helps you out. The farther tiers you go in, okay? If that doesn't make sense to y'all, it will if you just read it. You ignore 2% of their defense. Come on, let's use our head. Someone has 1,000,000 defense, 2% is going to be, you know, a good amount, as opposed to someone who only has like 10. Like, come on. Come on now. Plus core strength only adds 2%, which we can get over here with our max damage mod, but it don't work out. All right, the numbers favor penetrating strikes. With that defense, it's gonna definitely get you more damage in the long run. All right, it just is. I don't know what other better way to explain it. Some people want to ask me about penetrating strikes. It's just the way to go. Whether you're facing the ads or the boss, especially when you're facing the boss, this does way more damage. Well, allows you to do more damage, I should say. It doesn't actually do damage itself. But yeah, I don't know how other way to explain it to y'all. All right, check out Obsidian Shield video. He definitely went over core strength versus penetrating strikes. That video is still valid for today and the foreseeable future. Okay, nothing really changed in according to it. Our leg socket is gonna be really anything. I use Restorative Spark Barrage just because Spark Barrage is probably one of the better moves out of the three that you have the option to pick, and you can actually use it in certain scenarios for Spark Barrage. But yeah, feet socket, we're gonna go with Tumbling Mastery. And hand socket, I got max damage. Now in our affinity mods, if you are rocking some elite gear like I am right here, you can go ahead and put some different mods in. Really, I only want to focus on type A and type B, because type C and D, there's really no good ones for DPS. Those mod sockets are more for support roles, so the healers, the controllers, and tanks. Now there are some generic ones that some DPS can take, but you're better off and get more use and utilization when you put them as your support role, like how you see I have here for my healer. Now, actually, type A and type B are both might spec at the moment, because I do might DPS as well. But you definitely, for precision DPS, just put your precision in there. And yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the trinkets. Now, the trinkets, I like to have tier 3 pet, our buff trinket, and the OMAC trinket. Now, the OMAC trinket gives you 5% more chance to crit with your weapon attacks. Not your power attacks, but your weapon attacks, okay? So that's definitely going to help us right there, especially with the 2% that we get in the head socket. And then I like to have the backup as a just generic 4 slot. Now, you can definitely swap out that backup, and that's why I like to have in 4 slots, so I can have it, swap it out supply drop, swap it out, you know, the orbital, whatever the case may be. And I like to line it up so I can, you know, do the philosopher's stone with the supply drop and the decking scepter for the orbital as well. Now, you definitely want to go ahead and try to artifact swap the Eye of Gemini as well, okay? When we get down to this, especially when you are popping those supercharges, especially in the EOG groups, they allow you to do so much more damage. It is absolutely insane. And that's why I also have my artifact set this way. Transformation card, that is an absolute must. We're probably never going to take that off for the foreseeable future. We got the Quizlet as well. Now, the Quizlet is, you know, with the Grim, they rival each other, but the Quizlet comes out on top, not only on the base 1-to-1 attack for attack with the pet damage, but also, as you see with the Quizlet, when we hit our supercharges, which is what electricity is known for, honestly, that's the only thing that keeps electricity at the top as it is because of the supercharger. We're able to hit circuit breakers so frequently, okay? And with this Quizlet right there, we are getting a very powerful attack when we hit our supercharge, as well as some supercharged regeneration back onto us, which is just incredible, okay? Just absolutely incredible. And that's why we have the strategist card, which is pretty much a mandatory thing, especially for single target in a prolonged fight. That's why we have it in our 3rd slot there, so we're able to switch that off if we need to go to Eye Gemini real quick, or swap it out for the decking sector or philosopher's stones as well, okay? Now, that is going to conclude what our mods and how our general build looks like on our inventory here. Now, our current stats look as such. We got a good amount of health, you know, over 251,000 health. We got 117,739 might, as well as 800. Oh, my apologies, y'all. 84,227. I apologize. I am tripping right now. Now, our CR is 377. I wanted to keep it very similar to the elite gear that we all know, so we can have our parses, you know, match the general damage that we're all familiar with, especially since the new gear did just come out and not a lot of people know what kind of damage numbers and those ranges that you should be hitting for, okay? Now, we'll make another video of this electricity loadout, especially when the Heart of Isis comes out, and see how that changes the meta, okay? I will make a whole separate video for that, and have the updated gear, you know, what is it, 337? I believe it's over here. Yeah, 337. Go ahead and put that on, okay? Now, in terms of our allies, when we're doing single target, you know we gotta rock that crypto, best one in the game, especially for tank. Not for tanks. My apologies. I'm just tripping all over the case right now. It is the best one in terms of bosses, okay? It does absolutely the most damage single target wise for bosses. Now, if you need an AoE situation for bosses, the future Lex Luthor is the way to go. Of course, y'all know, especially when we get to AoE, Superman is the best AoE, just general AoE, not boss AoE. Boss AoE goes to future Lex Luthor here, okay? And if you don't have Superman for AoE, You can use Flashpoint Batman or even Death Metal Batman are very good options to do. Now, if you need a single target one to do, you can use House of Legend spot, AoE, another go on a Cyborg as well. Okay, I just want to throw a couple options and alternatives for y'all to have out there. Okay, now in terms of our two support allies, we're going to do the Batman Who Laughs with the Luck of the Draw and the Death Metal Batman with the Cloak of Ensnare. Now, these are pretty much your go-to mandatory long or prolonged, I should say, fight allies. All right, especially with Batman Who Laughs, his buffs that he gives you are phenomenal, and especially in prolonged fights, they really come in clutch and handy. Now, in terms of the Batman Who Laughs, you roll in majority of content. If you don't realize it, I didn't realize it till I just started seeing the thing proc with the bats flying around so much. So I just made it mandatory for me to pretty much put it in there, because you're gonna get a nice chunk of precision and might. As you see, you get a 5% precision increase and a 10% might increase. It's only a 30-second cooldown, and you get 40% damage negation, so you're pretty much not gonna die as long as your healers are decent. Okay. Now, you could, if you don't want to run Death Metal Batman for whatever reason, you could go ahead and do Emperor Aquaman and do the Hear My Call. The summon pets get temporary damage increase. If you had it maxed out, you can get about 10% damage boost for all your pets. This not only includes your robot sidekick, but also your tier 3 pet and your henchman / backup. Okay, and if you want to rock a sidekick, it includes that as well. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, on to our spec. Our weapon spec's gonna be pretty simple. You know, we gotta go the dual wield route for our single target. Okay, go get that flurry shot mastery, and to get that, we gotta go over here to bow. Go ahead and spec that out. Go down to weapon, the bow master, the weapon mastery of this tree. Then you can come back to the dual wield and at least get that flurry shot master right there. Okay, now in terms of super speed, you do not need all these. Definitely get your speed force or your go fast for whatever movement you are. And then I recommend that you get Vortex Trap and Whirling Dervish. You don't really need phase dives, and you don't need Tornado Pull, Cyclone Push, or Speed Drain. I just have these for different testing and different loadouts that I be trying to compare and contrast. Okay, now I would definitely recommend that you at least get your knockbacks, your resistances, and your breakouts right here, especially for the breakout mastery. It is very nice to know that you can always pretty much break out of this stuff and have a little bit more resistance to it. It's very minor, but it sometimes does help. Okay, so I recommend it, especially have probably, I would say, over 400 skill points, especially over 500 skill points. Definitely go ahead and get your mastery, get your breakout height. Now, onto iconic powers. You don't need everything in here. Once again, I definitely recommend you do robot sidekick and super strength just for the extra weaponization skill. Okay, now it does slightly help your weapon damage, but it's very minimal. You're pretty much not going to notice. It just be a couple more ticks harder. Okay, so now something that you can also go ahead and throw into the mix is Neo Venom boost. If you have a crazy, and I do mean crazy setup, I mean 2 EOG spam healers that run like 3 supercharges each, so you're gonna get plenty of little green circles all over the field. Then you can definitely take out robot sidekick and go ahead and get that Neo Venom boost, so you can have Neo Venom and Circuit Breaker popping back and forth. Okay, having that consistent damage increase. Now, Circuit Breaker is a little bit better than Neo Venom, but it's still going to be insane if you're rocking both of them. Now, another thing you could do is do Pheromone Bloom. If you just want the little iGem like procs just to happen a whole lot faster, you can just go ahead and throw that in there and pretty much do the equivalent that you would with Neo Venom, but you don't have as much supercharge to, recover each time. Or just on the basis, get Robot Sidekick. Now, in terms of our stat points, pretty much going to go straight down to the left-hand side of this tree. You're a weapons expert, get our critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and then spectre precision. Once we got everything spec, dump it all in. If you have anything extra, I recommend that you at least get 1 into health and dump the rest into might and power, since you do have some dots and whatnot that require your might to be increased by. Alright, now in terms of our loadout, we're going to rock, for our single target loadout, we're going to rock the Electrogenesis, the Wired, Vortex Trap, Whirling Dervish, Exobit Attune or Robot Sidekick. You can choose normal if you want, but everybody pretty much rocks the Exobit Attune one because it just looks better. Okay, and then of course we're on Circuit Breaker. Always have this load up your damage with electricity. Now, our rotation is pretty much gonna be left to right. We're gonna have Electrogenesis and clip it into wired, and then we're gonna do our normal one and just go left to right down the row. Now I will say for Vortex Trap, to get out of this animation you will jump cancel it. What that means is you hit it, just jump and you'll stop and you can continue fighting. And for Whirling Dervish, excuse my dog in the background, he's trying to get himself comfortable, I guess. But to cancel Whirling Dervish, all you gotta do is just pretty much tap your weapon, okay? And you get out of that animation as well. Now you're gonna wanna use these just because we're gonna use the max damage. So when we do hit these superpowers, we're able to amplify our overall damage by 2%, okay? And that will help us in the long run. And then if you have supercharge, you know, way better. But let me show you a little bit of a parser. What should you expect? I was getting about 120 pretty consistently over 100k. Now I don't know if Batman Who Laughs proc is gonna help me out right now because I don't know which one it is. Oh, it's not I'm messing up. Bear with me, y'all. Man, I'm kind of low, 33%. Just imagine if it was like, okay, 103. Okay, we're getting back up there. Let me get one more. Only 90. Man, I'm critting very low though. Now you know, of course, with precision, you are definitely reliant on crits. If you at least have about 40% of crit chance and above, you're gonna hit over that 100k pretty consistently. As you see, I have the 40% crit chance and hit 103,480 per second. So long as you're having over 40% crit chance, you should be good. And you're definitely gonna have that for the most part in most scenarios running content. Now let me go ahead and show y'all the AoE loadout, okay? So this video is not too long. I don't want to make it too long. Now for the AoE loadout, we're actually gonna have a loadout that doesn't include super speed movement mode abilities. So for all those who are, you know, flight or acrobatics, okay, this AoE loadout is gonna be perfect for you. I will circle back to a single target loadout that is not gonna have any super speed movement mode abilities in it here in a second, but I want to go ahead and get this AoE loadout out the way first. All right, so for AoE loadout, we're gonna rock Electrogenesis into wired, Arc Lightning, Tesla Ball, Robot Sidekick, and Circuit Breaker. Okay, now this right here does absolutely amazing damage. I will say that. Okay, it does more consistent damage. Now I see a lot of people that like to run this variant of this loadout where you pretty much have Tesla Ball, Wired, Arc Lightning, Whirling Dervish, Robot Sidekick, and Circuit Breaker. Now this one is a good alternative to the loadout that I'm presenting to y'all, but I will say it does less consistent damage than the other loadout. One, because you're getting rid of Electrogenesis, which is electricity's strongest dot at the current time of the recording of this video, and for a good minute now. Tesla Ball is pretty decent, but it's like the second or third strongest AoE dot. Electrogenesis is taking the cake on it at the moment though, okay? So let's go ahead and fix that back and show y'all the loadout, okay? Now the loadout, and another little tip, you want to be out of your movement mode, so you don't want to be over here skipping around if you're acrobatics like that. You want to just be in your normal walk stance, okay? It helps you clip all the animations better and let it flow more consistently, okay? But pretty much same left to right. Clip electric into wired every time. Arc lightning, Tesla ball. You're pretty much gonna do a weapon combo, weapon mastery combo in between. Arc lightning, Tesla ball. Now sometimes I circle about arc lightning before I go into electric genesis wired again. But pretty much you always want to make sure that electric genesis wired is always up, 100% uptime. Okay. So you may want to skip the Tesla ball here and there. Okay. Now you see we're already hitting over 200,000. Now this loadout right here has hit very high. I'm not gonna front. It has hit, what was the highest? I think it was a little bit less than my might. But as the highest partial, at least when I was testing, but I will say it's still pretty high. It was about 254,000 per second. Yeah, that seems about right. Cause it was like slightly under. I know it was like 256,000 was my might. Or was it higher than that? I have to look back at it, but I think it was about it was still 250 range. Okay, so we're able to get in the 250,000 per second range with this loadout. You just have to get your crits up there to do so. Okay, now I will also say and recommend that you please check out the allies. Okay, now the allies, oh, I don't know why she's in there. My apologies, y'all. Now the allies is going to be looking like this, okay? Now, either on Cyborg as a general one. Now you can definitely swap them out for the other ones, like I said, for AoE, Death Metal Batman if you weren't running him in the support slot. You can also have Flashpoint Batman, he's pretty good. A Future Lex Luthor is great for AoE bosses. And if you have Superman, fully leveled up, he is the best AoE one in the game. Bombshell Harley Quinn is a great alternative as well. Okay, so you have plenty of options in terms of AoE that you can do. But for the support, I will say From the Shadows with Batman is pretty good. All right, especially the higher you get him, you can get all the way up to, I believe it's a 10% increase for the first couple abilities. All right, then you need to reach 100. Okay, on the combo counter to refresh this. Now that's pretty easy for our build right here, because you do have not only 2 different dots to put everyone in there, also Arc Lightning that jumps to everyone, as well as our Brawling the Shuriken Mastery here. All right, so I just want to show that for y'all too. I know some people like to, still look at it, but everyone should know about it for the most part. That's what you want to spec into. All right, all the other spec is the same. So just in case y'all wanted to know. But as far as the allies, this loadout here is mainly for those hallways encounters. So when you're in the hallways, Batman right here is a perfect go-to, just to have that little bit of extra might and precision for each group of ads that you're going to jump to, since you can jump to a whole bunch of groups back to back to back. As soon as you get out of combat, you're pretty much good to go for another buff as soon as you get into another instance. And Cloak of Ensnare, the extra 5% precision and the 10% might, it's going to work wonders for us. And all you got to do is roll. You know what I mean? That is definitely going to help us and proc very consistently. Now, if you don't want to sit here and roll in between each of your counters, you can definitely swap Death Metal Batman out for the Batman Who Laughs and get the luck with the draw, of course. Or if you even want to do the Hear My Call with the Emperor Aquaman, that's another good alternative as well. Now, if you all have been in people's face and whatnot, you could do Queen Diana, just because in a raid, the might that you will get from this, from breaking out, is going to be a nice chunk that can go with, that can do well in that scenario. But you will not only have to be close, but also get stunned to be able to break out to trigger this effect each time. So take that as you will and do with it, and fit the build to how you play best. All right, I want to give you a few alternatives. All right, Now, another alternative I want to give is for the single target loadout. Now, the single target loadout, let's switch back to that armor real quick. Single target loadout is what you can do here is still have electrogenesis and wired. We're gonna go with electrostatic bomb and Tesla blast. All right, Tesla blast is a fantastic alternative, especially with this kind of might that we are sitting at right now. Let me go and refresh our memory. You know, we're at 117,739 might and 84,227 precision, just so y'all are aware. And for the single target wise, Tesla blast, you know, I just use gonna hit that 28, almost 30k right there, and about 64 to pretty much right under 70 without any buffs whatsoever at all. Now, of course, if you're in content, that's gonna go up. Most content, that ability alone should still hit about 90 to 100,000, just with all the buffs that you got going on, the different compounds, you know, troll buff and stuff with the debuff as well that you're hitting to enemies, etc. Okay, about 90 to 100k still with that ability right there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this one more time before we go ahead and show the rotation. I know this videos are kind of all over the place, but I want to go ahead and put it out here real quick before the DLC comes out and before the potential meta change, just so y'all know what it is and what it ain't, and can rely on something to have for y'all. You're pretty much going to do the exact same thing in between each weapon combo. You want to go ahead and just proc one of the abilities. I need some more power. I need to get a little closer. There we go. Give me power, yo. Ah, there we go. So once I give me power, it went up in damage. See that? But yeah, this is a good alternative to go ahead and use. You're pretty much going to treat it the exact same way you would for the AoE. All right, especially if you are not super speed movement, this is a fantastic alternative. Pretty much the best you're gonna get. Now you can change out Tesla Blast here for the, what is it, the acrobatics, I forget what the ability is called, the acrobatics pool, the one that gadgets use all the time for acrobatics, or even nature at times, the single target pool that acrobatics has. You can switch it out for Tesla Blast there. I would definitely keep electrostatic bomb just because it is a nice damage over time that you can do, and it helps with the AoE aspect. Say if you are in a scenario where you're fighting one boss, but say two ads pop up, so you don't have to change anything, but still able to do damage to the surrounding area, you can still hit that electrostatic bomb and let the electrogenesis do their thing. All right, so look, without further ado, try these loadouts out for yourself. All right, I worked very hard on this. I tested all the ones on YouTube that I can find, Discord, the forums, all right, different websites, people in game, etc., etc., etc. Tried very hard to test this. Been testing this for a very long time because some loadouts were competing, and then I found that another loadout, they pretty much blew those loadouts out the water, and these are the loadouts I was left with. Okay, the AoE one I did come up with myself, so I am very proud. And the single target one, this one right here, I came up with myself as well. Now the single target one that has the 2 super speed movement mode, I didn't come up with that portion of it because, you know, more people had those videos and gave me the idea for it, but using electrogenesis instead was my idea because it does more damage for single target as opposed to Tesla ball. Now if you want a little bit more supercharged generation, you can't throw Tesla ball, but you will sacrifice on the damage there, but you can in a sense make it back up with the amount of circuit breakers that you're able to generate time and time again. Okay, but look, that's it. That's all I have for the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Show your support, man. Show your love. You show love, I show love back. Drop a comment down below how you think about this video, man. I know it's a bit sporadic and all over the place, but please, please, please bear with me, y'all. It's not only late at night, but it's been crazy here lately, all right? So, without further ado, man, peace, shalom. Share the video out, please, and thank you.